Alright, students, here we go. Nutrition basics. No lie, this is my 8th time doing this recording because, first of all, my computer wasn't working and the microphone wasn't working. So, here we go. I should be really good at this by now. So, we're going to start talking about nutrition basics, some basic information you need to know about your nutrition. So, first, nutrition is the science or study of food and the way in which your body uses food. Nutrients are substances that provide energy or help form body tissues, which is necessary for life and growth. The 6 classes of nutrients are carbs, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water. Water, people are usually surprised that water is considered a nutrient, as well as vitamins and minerals. And we'll learn more about them here in a moment. So as we go through this, I want you to think, why is eating healthy now relevant to your future health? And I want you to be able to explain how food is fuel for your body. So metabolism, we hear this term a lot. Metabolism is the sum of chemical processes that occur in your body to keep you alive. As you age, your metabolism decreases. Females, when you hit puberty, your metabolism decreases. Same for you males, but that occurs at a later date, usually not into your early 20s, where females, this slowing of metabolism is happening in your teens. The downside of that is when your metabolism slows, your body doesn't naturally burn calories, therefore you have to work harder to burn those calories. So now you can probably consume a lot of calories without gaining any weight, but as you get older or hit puberty or your body changes, your metabolism will decrease, therefore you can't eat like you used to eat. And that's why people tend to gain a lot of weight in their 20s, is because they eat like their metabolism is still high when it's not. Calories are energy, so when we talk about calories and we evaluate calories and we're looking at what calories in our food and things we eat, you need to think of it as energy. So in carbs and proteins, each gram of carb or each gram of protein has 4 calories. Fats have 9 calories per gram, and we're going to use these in a couple different ways throughout this nutrition unit. So just to give you an idea, the calories in these items could, so 5 pounds of spaghetti could give enough energy to brew a pot of coffee. A piece of cherry cheesecake could light a bulb for an hour and a half, and 217 Big Macs, a lot of Big Macs, could drive a car 88 miles. Lots of energy, lots of calories. So guys, what I want you to do, males only, need to tune in here. How many calories do you need? So if you're a sedentary person, you rarely exercise, rarely do any activity, you would find your age, find your activity level. So if you're 14 and you would consider yourself sedentary, rarely exercise, you need 2,100 calories to survive. That's how many calories you need. If you're very active, meaning that you're in a sport that requires a lot of activity, such as hockey, such as basketball, you're a very active person, and you're 14, you're going to need closer to 3,200 calories, a little over 3,200 calories. So as you see, there's a huge difference in activity level and calories. So you can pause the video and check that out. What I want you to do is write that number down because you're going to need that later on. Alright, females, same for you. So I want you to evaluate, find your age and your activity level. Low active, so that means you maybe walk to school, you do some walking, some activity. Active, where you're exercising maybe 3 to 5 times a week. Very active, you're exercising every day for 60 plus minutes. So record that number down because we're going to compare that to what FitnessPal says. Alright, carbs is the first type of nutrient that we're going to talk about. So carbs are broken down into 2 separate areas, simple carbs and complex carbs. Simple carbs are the sugars, glucose, fructose, lactose, sucrose, lactose is found in milk, fructose is found in most sugars. Everything ultimately is broken down into glucose. Even complex carbs get broken down into glucose. Simple sugars give you quick energy but doesn't last very long. Then you tend to crash after eating some candy or drinking a soda that has a lot of sugar. It gives you immediate energy, but then your blood sugar decreases lower than it was when you started. Complex sugars are usually found in grains, vegetables, legumes, which are beans and peas, grains, rice, corn, wheat, breads, pastas. One thing I do want to mention is that when you do eat grains, you should make half of those grains whole, at least half. If you can make them all, that's great, but the ChooseYourPlate.gov suggests that make half of your grains whole grains. Glycogen is stored glucose. So when your body consumes too many carbs, too much glucose, it gets stored as glycogen. If that glycogen is not used and that storage gets full, it turns to fat. When the body needs that energy and it depletes its energy in its muscles, it goes to that storage area. But people tend to overeat on the carbs and have too much glucose and too much glycogen stored. Therefore, the fat builds up pretty quickly. Fiber falls into the carbohydrate category. Fiber keeps your digestive system moving. It's found in fruits and vegetables, cannot be broken down by human enzymes. You need this to keep you regular helps keep you full. The most important thing you need to know about that is it's an important part of your diet for a couple different reasons. All right, so fats is the next category to talk about. So fats are called lipids. They're a fatty, oily substance that doesn't dissolve in water. They're essential to storing energy, body function, but you need the right kinds of fat and in healthy serving sizes. So saturated fat and unsaturated fat. You want more unsaturated than you want saturated. Saturated fats, they're solid at room temperature. You'll find them in animal products such as meat and milk, and it increases your cholesterol. Monounsaturated are the more healthy fats for you: olive oil, canola oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, omega-3 fatty acids. You do not want trans fats, and most restaurants, most food companies no longer have trans fats in their foods, although some do. So what I want you to get most out of this page is your total fat intake for you should be 25 to 30% of your total calories. So we're going to look at somebody who, let's say you ate 1,000 calories. If of that 1,000 calories, around 250 should be from fat. It shouldn't be 500 calories of fat. So 50% of your calorie intake should not come from fat. 25 to 30. So when you evaluate your food log that we're going to do in your nutrition unit, and we're going to evaluate your fast food intake, that'll help determine if you're eating too much fat. Next, part of fat is cholesterol. So you need cholesterol. You hear about that all the time, that people have high cholesterol, but you need it to make vitamin D. You need it for cell membranes. You need it for hormones. You need it for the bile in your stomach, but you don't need too much. So LDLs, you need both. LDLs bring cholesterol to the cells, and when too many are present, it builds up on the artery walls, causing plaque. Okay, you hear about clogged arteries. It's because of too much LDLs. HDLs carries cholesterol back to the liver. So you want more HDLs than LDLs. HDLs would be considered the good ones, LDLs the bad. Next category is protein. So that's made up of amino acids. It helps build new cells, repair existing ones, forms hormones, enzymes, and antibodies. So if you ingest more protein than you need, it's stored as fat, just like carbs. Amino acids are essential. They're important. So you have 20 amino acids that are needed, that are the building blocks of you, of your body, of your cells, of your processes. 9 of the 20 are essential because your body doesn't produce them. So 11 of the 20 your body produces, 9 you need to get from foods. So there's complete proteins and incomplete. So a complete protein is a protein that contains all 9 of the essential amino acids. An incomplete protein is missing 1 or more of those amino acids. So if you look at the source here, most plant proteins are incomplete, which means that someone who's a vegetarian needs to make sure that they're eating multiple types of incomplete proteins to make sure they get all 9 of those essential amino acids in the body. Someone who eats meat doesn't necessarily have a problem with those complete proteins. All right, vitamins are next. They support optimal health. They're absolutely necessary for our growth, general well-being, and vitality. Fat-soluble and water-soluble. The difference is fat-soluble gets stored in your fat, stored in your body, where water-soluble exits your body via urine. So minerals are super important as well. The next category of the classes of nutrients. They maintain all psychological processes as well as healthy teeth, bones, tissues, blood, muscle, and nerve cells. They act as catalysts for many biological reactions within your body. So they help these reactions take place. So they're necessary for transmission of messages to the nervous system, digestion, metabolism, and utilizing your nutrients. So not only are they necessary for these reactions to occur, but they also are necessary to help your body take the nutrients from foods and use them. So sodium, you should have no more than 23 to 2400 milligrams of sodium a day. Some of you will find in your fast food evaluation that you've had 2,300 grams or milligrams or more in one single setting, one single meal. Calcium should be around 1,300 milligrams a day, and we'll talk about that here more in a little bit. So calcium is extremely important for all ages. When your diet doesn't provide enough for everyday life functions, such as blood clotting and heartbeat regulation, your body takes what it needs from your bones. Over time, this drains and weakens your bones so that they break easier. So calcium, we know, is the framework for your bones. The more calcium your bones contain, the stronger and more dense they will be. Vitamin D is a bone builder too. So it helps your body absorb the calcium from food and helps deposit these minerals into your bones. So without vitamin D and calcium working together, your bones don't build up that bone density. Phosphorus and magnesium are also major components, but that calcium and that vitamin D are huge. We'll talk about how much calcium is in your bones in class. I'll give you an example of that. So 9 to 18-year-olds need 1,300 milligrams of calcium, like was stated. So 1 glass of milk, which is about 8 ounces, has 300 milligrams of calcium. Do the math, figure out how many glasses you would need a day to reach that. 9 out of 10 teen girls do not get enough calcium. 7 out of 10 teen boys do not get enough calcium in their diet. And birth to 20 is when you need to deposit that calcium in your bones to ensure that you have enough bone density for the rest of your life. So some things that take calcium out of your bones: cigarette smoking, caffeine, alcohol consumption, not exercising, just being a female gender puts you at greater risk, body weight less than 130 pounds, being of the Caucasian race, just making a choice not to ingest calcium, phosphoric acid, which is found in dark soda, and citric acid. Now, if you don't like milk, there's many other options. If you don't like dairy products, yogurt, cheese, lots of broccoli is high in calcium, oranges have calcium, lots of different things are calcium fortified. So you just have to make an honest effort to get that calcium, and we'll evaluate that when you do your food log to see how much calcium you're intaking. All right, lastly, our last nutrient we're going to talk about is water. 2/3 of your body weight is water. It's recommended that you get 8 to 10 glasses a day, which equates to about 64 ounces. It's necessary for digestion, absorption of nutrients, body temperature, circulation of blood, carrying nutrients and oxygen to cells, removing toxins, cushioning joints, and protecting tissues and organs. My suggestion is always to students is to make sure you're carrying around water throughout the day and drinking that instead of going for a soda or for a juice or for a Gatorade, because that water really is the best thing to hydrate you throughout the day. All right, so I want you to solve this problem below. So how many extra calories would cause a person to gain 1 pound? So how many calories are in 1 pound? So I want you to read this little story about Sally and answer that on your worksheet. How many calories are in 1 pound? And this gives you the answer. All right, lastly, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you on your worksheet evaluate snack time. So a Cliff Energy Bar, Blueberry Crisp, is a type of energy bar, type of snack that some people eat. So what I want you to do is calculate the number of calories from each. So there's 5 grams of fat in this Cliff Energy Bar. You need to tell me how many calories. How do you figure that out? You take 5 times 9. There are 9 calories per gram of fat. So 5 times 9, you put that number there. 43 grams of carbs, so it's pretty high in carbs. So how many calories are in 1 gram of carbs? 4, as stated earlier. So you take 43 times 4. Same for proteins, 10 times 4, because there's 4 calories per gram of protein. Give me the total calories, and I want you to figure out how many calories are from fat, how many calories are from carbs, and how many are from proteins. Next, I want you to tell me if it's healthy or unhealthy and why. 22 grams of sugar, 5 grams of fiber, 190 milligrams of sodium, 0 milligrams of cholesterol. Do the same for the Snickers bar. Tell me how it, kind of compare it to what the Cliff Bar is like and figure out those percentage of calories from fat. How do you figure that out? You take the total calories that are in the fats and divide that into the total calories. You take the calories from the carbs, you divide that into the total calories. Lastly, I want you to choose a snack of your choice, something that you normally pick for a snack, and I want you to calculate it. Now, if it doesn't have, this is wrong. If it doesn't have the carbs, so let's say you chose an apple for your snack, you're going to have to look that up, and you can use FitnessPal to do that. But pick what your typical snack is, and I want you to figure it out and tell me if it's healthy or unhealthy. Lastly, here are some questions you need to answer for class following your viewing of this presentation. So I want you to describe the role and function of each class of nutrient that contains calories. So just a brief description of each one. Discuss the importance of the remaining 3 nutrients that do not contain calories. And then what are the recommended amount of calories you need based off your activity level, age, and gender? So that's a number that you found on that chart I gave you. How many calories are in a pound? You're supposed to solve that question. Why is eating healthy now relevant to your future health? Which, oopsies, relevant to your future health. Explain how food is fuel for your body. What percentage of your total calories should come from fats, proteins, and carbs? And then besides calcium, what other mineral vitamin is a bone builder? And then this last section, I want you to go to www.choosemyplate.gov and search around on there and find some information about what that site is all about and give me a little description of it. And then lastly, nutrition outcomes. Your family will work together to answer these questions. All of the answers can be found by using your own brain, as well as the choosemyplate.gov. And that's what we're going to be working on the rest of the week. I will see you soon.